Hello, everyone. Welcome to Soul Prism Podcast, where we share bite-sized nuggets of wisdom for your body, mind, and soul to support you, the emerging soulpreneur. My name is Tammy Mack. I'm super excited to be here today. Today, we are talking about the 4 survival-based archetypes that we all have within us that may be stopping us from really creating transformation in our lives, from really stopping us from creating change in our life. In fact, this right here is day 7 of the Initiation into Abundance challenge that we're doing. So this teaching is in that course module if you want to learn more about this. So the 4 survival-based archetypes, there's a few places that I got to learn this from. One of them is Carolyn Myss' Sacred Contracts. This is really connected to the archetypes that we all have in our life. The second book that I read about this was another Carolyn Elliott, and she also talks about one of the archetypes, the saboteur, in Existential Kink. So you may really enjoy that as well. In fact, now that I think about it, I do have a free course called Blessings from the Lessons, and it really is connecting to Gate 24 in human design, the gate of rationalizing, the gate of settling. So if you are a human design enthusiast, you may want to look at your chart and see if you have the gate 24 out of the ajna in your energetic blueprint. Now, the gate 24 is actually my unconscious earth. It is my life purpose. So my life purpose is truly to stop settling in my life and to support others who may be settling, who may be playing small in their life as well. So if that is you, leave me a comment below. You are part of my soul tribe. So let's get back to the 4 archetypes that we're going to be talking about today. The first archetype that we're going to talk about is the inner child. We all have an inner child within us. If you were here today as an adult, you have an inner child, because our inner child is connected to the conditioning that we experienced when we were young, usually between the age of, say 0 to about 0 to 14. This is our inner child. Sometimes it's the inner brat when she's 2 years old and stomping her feet saying, no, I don't want to. Or sometimes it can be even connected to our teenager, stubborn years of our teenager. But we all have an inner child, whether it's a wounded child, whether it's a deprived child, whether it is a traumatized child, right? We all have an aspect within us. And so the inner child actually is very closely linked to our nervous system, So really check in on yourself. How does your body feel when you're creating change in your life? Does your breathing stop? Does your breathing get really, really shallow and it stays in the chest? Do you feel all these feels whenever you're going to make change? Is there fear in your body? Are you linking it to something that happened to you back when you were a child and you're still making decisions from that inner child? So there's so many different ways that we can connect to our inner child, whether it's through meditation, whether it's through contemplation, whether it is soothing our inner child by doing something playful, by doing something fun, really connecting to what does my body need in order for me to feel safe, for me to feel secure, for me to feel as though I can take that next step in my evolution, in my growth. Because so many times we allow our inner child to rule the roost and we never go anywhere. We're just constantly in that soothing process. So one great way to really connect, to really strengthen our connection to moving forward and calming our nervous system is through breath. Having a really good breathing connection, meditation practice that you can come back to really calm your nervous system. So breath work is one of the best ways to connect to your inner child, to connect to your nervous system, to create change in your life. The second archetype that we're going to be working with is the prostitute. Now, we all have an inner prostitute within us. If you have ever said yes to a shift at work when you really meant to say no, but you were doing it based out of this sense of security. I need to work to make money. I need to, and what happens sometimes is that we sell our soul, right? We sell our body to make money. We do things that don't feel good to us, that brings us out of integrity, that brings us out of a sense of, I've given a little bit of myself away that doesn't feel good to me. And so how can you come back into a place of empowerment so that you feel as though you're serving from your soul, not at the expense of your soul? So staying in alignment with your integrity and to stop people pleasing for money, for security, for this sense of I have to drop all my prices at the lowest price point because I have a fear that nobody is going to value me. Nobody is going to buy my services. This can look like I said, working those extra shifts at wherever it is that you're working, or giving too much in your soul-based business that does not feel good to you. My example is, for me, I had shoulder surgery on my right shoulder because I was in a career that was really physically demanding. And I loved my career, but I was always doing too much. I was, in a sense, of proving my worth, feeling as though I had to do all of the things by myself, which really wasn't true at all. And so I ended up hurting my shoulder in a situation where we didn't have enough staff. And I, of course, charged, I can do it, I am woman, hear me roar, and ended up hurting my shoulder. So how is it that you are selling your soul? How is it that you are, depleting your body, depleting your energy, depleting your joy in a way that is, prostituting yourself, which is the oldest, really, it is the oldest profession in the world. It is something that we all have done. And so really coming back, am I doing this from a place of enoughness, of sustainability, or am I doing this from a place of lack and scarcity? The third archetype that we're going to be working with is the archetype of the victim. So I call her the sister of circumstance. The sister of circumstance is always putting out fires, always in reactive mode. She's like, Chicken Little running around with her head cut off, because she is always the circumstances in her past, or the circumstances that she's living with, is the reason why she can't move forward, right? I can't do this because this happened to me in the past. I can't do this because this is my circumstance. And it's almost like this pity party. You know a sister of circumstance, because she always has a story. She always has a story of why not. She's always looking for energy in a pity way. She might not be aware of it. She might not be aware of it, right? But this is how she has grown up. She has known to get a little bit of her power, a little bit of energy, a little bit of love from a place of pity, a place of always being a victim in the story of, why is life happening to me? Why is this happening to me? Instead of a place of being the creatrix of your matrix, of taking radical responsibility for everything that is happening in your life. Now, listen, I know that there are times when shit happens, okay? I know that there is. I know that there's times when you're going to say, well, this happened to me. Are you telling me that I created this? I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say yes. There is a part of you, unconsciously, subconsciously, that created this, that pulled this into your awareness, into your life, for you to either decide to grow from this, from using this as your stepping point to that next evolution, or for you to stay stuck in that cycle, that pattern once again. See, this always happens to me. See, you see this? This always happens to me. These people always come into my life. This always happens to me. And they really reinforce their story, their place of victimhood, their place in their story, instead of being a hero in the story, instead of taking full responsibility, radical responsibility. This happened to me. This happened for me. This happened because I'm ready for that next level. And I'm ready to move from a sister circumstance of a victim, moving past being a survivor. Because even when you're a survivor of your circumstances, if you're always staying in that survivor place, there's always a part of you in the back of that mind waiting for that next shoe to drop. I am a survivor of this story. This is who I am now. Well, guess what? If you stay in that survivor mode, you are reinforcing the victim and survival, right? This is where we move into a place of co-creation, of taking radical responsibility, of being the creatrix of your matrix. This happened to me so that I can grow. A part of me, a part of my soul, or I'm playing a part in someone else's karma, of somebody else's story, and I get to take a moment. I get to choose whether I react in the old ways or whether I create a new action and take myself out of this pattern, this loop, and move myself forward into that next step, that next evolution. So I no longer have to tell the story anymore. That sad, tired story that I'm so tired of telling. Okay, so sister circumstance, victimhood. We all have our stories. There's been times when we've been in that story. Recognize that within yourself. The last is the saboteur, the sexy, the subconscious saboteur that we all have in our lives. Oh my gosh, this is the archetype that I work closely with the most. That place when we get to the glass ceiling, those upper limits, and this feeling of, almost this sixth sense of like, I don't feel worthy of feeling better. Is this as good as it gets? This is a place of where we settle in our lives, right? Where we feel as though this is all I'm worthy of receiving. This is the best that life can get. This is as good as it can get. And even though there's a part of my soul, part of your soul that is saying, no, we can go further. There is so much more. Our conscious mind is like reaching towards that next level. Our subconscious, and I say it's sexy because there's an attraction. There's this attraction to, oh, but it's so comfortable here. This is my comfort zone. This feels good. This feels safe. This feels known to me. I want to live here, right? Because there's part of us that loves the comfort. We don't want to feel uncomfortable, right? We don't really want to feel uncomfortable, but if we want change, if we want transformation in our life, we have to start feeling comfortable with the uncomfortable, right? Really connecting back to that. It's only going to be uncomfortable for a little bit while. It's only going to be uncomfortable until it becomes our next level of comfort. And so really coming back to a place of, what is it that I really want in my life? What is the transformation? What is the evolution that I want to make in my life? Trusting that I can handle. I am resilient. I can make those shifts. I can take care of my energy so that I have systems in place. I have things that I know when I hit that upper level, I can call on. I am resilient. I know that if I really want this change enough, I am prepared to do the work. And so working with that inner subconscious sabotage that wants us to stay in the known, wants us to stay safe, wants us to stay secure, terrified of change. How can you, once again, taking all of those survival-based archetypes, the nurturing the inner child, right? Really being from a place of that prostitution. I don't need to sell my soul, my integrity, who I am. Who I am is growing. I'm ready to release those old stories. I know what I'm worth. I know how valuable I am, and I'm only willing to work from that space. When we worked with the victim, right? These were my circumstances in the past, but that is not that I don't live there anymore, right? I don't live there anymore. I am ready to move. I am ready to grow. I'm ready to expand. I'm ready to transform. I'm ready for that next level of evolution in my life. And so I am willing to do the work. And I'm going to recognize, I'm going to have that awareness. I'm going to see where I have sabotaged myself in the past. I'm going to love myself in that place there. And I'm going to use that as my next level, my next jump off to that next level, right? With the right support, with the right systems in place, with the right awareness and understanding of, yes, when I hit that level, that's, I'm ready to go even further. I'm ready to see how good it really gets when I allow myself to move out of those comfort zones. All right. So though that is the 4 survival-based archetypes that we work with when we are making change and transformation in our lives. Recap: the inner child, our nervous system, the prostitute, where we're selling ourselves short, where we're settling in our lives, the victim, when we're stuck in our past, when we're stuck in our stories, when we're looking for pity parties to feel good about ourselves. And the last is that saboteur. When you get to that upper limit, when you get to that glass ceiling, how can I support myself, whether it is through a community, a mentor, a system, a program? How can I support myself to level up to that next level? All right. So I hope that you have a wonderful day. I hope that let me know in the comments if any of these spoke to you. If you felt anything from any of these archetypes, I would love to support you in any way that I can. Have a great day.